bridge, a blood-red sky. A figure, mouth wide open, hands clasped to the head, screaming. Or is it the world that screams? This is Edvard Munch's The Scream, one of the most recognizable, imitated, and emotionally charged images in the history of art. But beneath its twisted lines and fiery sky is something deeper. A story of pain, of love lost, of anxiety before it had a name, a portrait of the artist's own unraveling. Today, we explore The Scream, not as a meme or museum piece, but as a cry from the depths of Edvard Munch's soul. Because behind this painting is a tragic obsession, and a man who lived at the edge of feeling. Edvard Munch was born in Norway in 1863. He was surrounded by death from an early age. His mother died of tuberculosis when he was just 5. His favorite sister, Sophie, followed 4 years later. His father descended into religious mania. Munch wrote, "Illness, insanity, and death were the black angels that kept watch over my cradle." His surviving family struggled with mental illness, and Munch himself would battle depression, alcoholism, and breakdowns throughout his life. For Munch, art was not about beauty. It was about survival. His paintings were not decorative. They were emotional exorcisms. In the late 1880s and 1890s, Munch developed a style known as symbolism. It wasn't about realism or precision. It was about emotion, memory, inner experience. He painted love, anxiety, jealousy, and despair as characters, as moods, as shadows that haunted him. He created a series of paintings called The Frieze of Life. Each one dealt with a psychological or emotional state. The Scream was part of this. Not just a painting, but a piece of a larger emotional map. In Munch's own words, the inspiration for The Scream came from a walk. "I was walking along the road with 2 friends. The sun was setting. Suddenly the sky turned blood red. I paused, feeling exhausted, and leaned on the fence. There was blood and tongues of fire above the blue-black fjord in the city. My friends walked on, and I stood there trembling with anxiety, and I sensed an infinite scream passing through nature. This was not just a panic attack. It was an epiphany, a moment when Munch felt the world rupture. He did not simply paint what he saw. He painted what he felt. The figure in The Scream is not identifiable. It is androgynous, simplified, alien. It could be Munch. It could be you. The landscape is distorted. The sky burns red and orange. The fjord undulates like a heartbeat. 2 figures in the background walk away. They are the real world. The figure is the rupture. Munch uses color emotionally, not realistically. He bends line to mirror inner chaos. And he leaves the meaning open. Is the figure screaming? Or hearing a scream? Or becoming the scream? Munch made multiple versions of The Scream. 2 paintings, 2 pastels, and several lithographs. Why? Because The Scream wasn't a moment. It was a theme, a haunting he couldn't let go. Each version varies in detail, color, and intensity. But the core remains, a cry locked in eternity. When first exhibited, The Scream shocked viewers. Critics called it ugly, hysterical, disturbing. It was mocked, but it couldn't be ignored. Over time, it became understood not just as a personal work, but a universal one, a symbol of modern anxiety, of the individual in crisis. In the 20th century, it became iconic, a touchstone in psychology, literature, pop culture, referenced by Warhol, parodied by cartoons, quoted in silence, because we all know the scream, even if we never speak it. Munch never married. He had affairs, but they were often intense and fraught. He once said, "From my rotting body, flowers shall grow, and I am in them, and that is eternity." He spent time in a mental hospital, but he kept painting. Landscapes, self-portraits, scenes from memory. He lived through World War I and II. His art was labeled degenerate by the Nazis, but he lived to see his work revered. He died in 1944 at 80, alone, but remembered. The scream has become more than a painting. It is a logo of emotion, a shorthand for terror, dread, existential panic. It has been stolen, recovered, reproduced. Its value is immeasurable. But its impact goes beyond price. It taught the world that art can be ugly and still beautiful. That feeling can be more powerful than form. And that a single image, stripped of name and place, can capture the human condition. We may never hear what the figure heard or felt, but we recognize it. That moment when the world tilts, when you feel unmoored, when silence is too loud. That is the scream, and that is Munch's gift, not a painting, but an emotion, an eternal echo, a reminder that we are not alone in our fear. Because someone once heard it too, and painted it, so we could see what a scream looks like, and remember that it passes, even if it never leaves us.